Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to another live stream, 7 o'clock Sunday night. We've got some big Israel-Iran updates with Trump making some statements. We got the G7 tomorrow. They're going to be talking a lot, I'm sure, about Russia-Ukraine, Israel-Iran, Trump trying to annex Greenland. Now it's come out Trump wants to invest in a mining operation on Greenland as a way to normalize the acquisition of the island. So we'll see if that ends up happening. No, I'm not late. This is normally I always start it up at 5 minutes before, and then I give people 5 minutes to get into it. It used to only be 2 minutes, but I bumped it up to 5 minutes. If the Israel conflict doesn't go exactly to whatever Trump's plan is, it will be a disaster come 20... Well, I don't even know if Trump has a plan on this, honestly. This seems... How is there going to be any type of ceasefire here? It doesn't really seem possible. Unless it gets to the point to where Iran is so weak they have no choice. But if this is a regime change, it's going to take a while. You look different, maybe grow a beard or don't. Yeah, that's because I haven't shaved in a while. Eight-day streak. Yeah, is it an 8-day streak? I think it's a 7-day streak if we're going to be fair, because I started streaming last Sunday and I've gone a full week. Before then, I streamed the Musk versus Trump thing, but then I didn't stream for 2 days, and then I streamed again. Well, thank you for the compliments, guys. How about the nothing burger that was no kings? Yeah, well, you know, it's all in perspective. There were a bunch of liberal accounts that were trying to blow it up like it was this amazing thing. When there's videos of grannies coming out of nursing homes with crowns on them, on their heads, like, you know, those Burger King crowns, as a way to kind of mock, I guess, Trump. They're coming out of the nursing homes. This is the Democratic Party in 2025. They come out of the nursing homes, and you've got this grandma who's like 84 crying, saying Trump ruined her life, and you just feel bad for these people. I should have done a video on that. Maybe I'll after my stream I'll do a video on that tonight. Because I was going to, but I just never did. You know, on Sundays, I don't do as many videos. On the weekend, I don't do as many. Is this pre-recorded? Come on. How is it pre-recorded? It's a live stream. How am I responding? You should change your YouTube profile pic. Yeah, no, I understand that maybe it's a little bit outdated. I don't think I look that different, honestly. And the problem is it's a marketing thing. People want to be able to, they recognize your channel, and then when you change your logo, it's a bit of a problem. I mean, I guess I could change it and keep the same background. Did you see the video of Crooks talking? No, I didn't. Thomas Crooks, is there like a new video of him before the shooting? You and your buddies did this joke where you called ICE on the construction sites nearby. 6 guys actually got detained. Yeah, I mean, it's rampant. That's why they're freaking out so bad. All people within construction, the contractors, they're like, half of these guys are not legal because they work for less. All right, let's see what Trump says here.
Can you give us a sense of what you're doing to try to de-escalate the situation between Iran and Israel?
Well, I hope there's going to be a deal. I think it's time for a deal, and we'll see what happens. But sometimes they have to fight it out, but we're going to see what happens. I think there's a good chance there'll be a deal.
Can you give us a sense of...
Yeah, I don't know how the deal is going to happen. How is a deal going to happen? How is Iran going to agree to anything? Iran just went on a major offensive to where they struck significantly within Tel Aviv and surrounding areas and caused some civilian damage and some casualties, and Israel's making a huge deal about it. They want the U.S. support. I put out the video today. Netanyahu asked and formally requested Trump to join the war, whatever that means. They're already in the war. But I guess in terms of like complete support. I mean, Trump has already said we're going to defend Israel, and I mean, this is the policy. I mean, think about what Charlie Kirk said. Charlie Kirk said Republicans support the defense of Israel, but not an offensive war. That's what Charlie Kirk said. So I think that's what the administration is swinging. It's like, well, we're going to supply Israel, but I mean, half of this stuff is they're the ones that started it. They call it preemptive strikes. Okay. So I don't know. They're already involved. That's the issue. Now, there can't be any troops deployed. That's the red line. You look 15 in your... Really? I look 15 in that? I don't know. I mean, I think I look pretty much the same, but... Can't believe how fast they memory hold Thomas Crooks. Well, that's the news cycle for you, man. Just understand, be politically aware of the news cycle and how quickly it moves. It's just constantly evolving, constantly changing. We're talking about something, then the next day. I mean, this will be a sticking point with this war whenever there's a big situation, but it just always evolves. But it is remarkable that that kid aimed in and got a shot directly at Trump's head, and we don't know anything about him. And it's just, and even Trump now, the administration, there's nothing on him. Now, I guess we'll see what happens with Bongino, and I know Bongino commented on it. He said they're investigating it, but I think he already dispelled it. He said, no, you're not going to find what you're looking for. That's what Bongino said about Crooks, basically saying, no, it's just some random kid who did it because I guess he doesn't like Trump. Bibi went on Fox News saying the past 2 attempts on Trump's life were Iran and that they still want to kill him. Yeah. I think there has to be a catalyst for significant U.S. support in this war. But, you know, they've been saying that for a while. They were saying it because under Trump's first term, he assassinated one of their top generals, Iran's top generals. They were saying that in 2024 during the campaign. They were saying that Iran wants to kill Trump, and they wanted to drill it in everyone's head that this is Iran, it's Iran, it's Iran. It's like the pretext for something that could happen. And so now that they have the narrative out there, I mean, I don't know, hopefully nothing happens, obviously, but it does seem like, I mean, the majority of Americans, in terms of significant U.S. involvement, if you want a regime change, you need aggressive U.S. involvement similar to the early 2000s interactions in the Middle East, and you're not going to get that right now. There's no appetite for that from the people, and Trump can't do it. But if something happens, then maybe it'll serve as the catalyst to change, and then maybe that'll be what it is. I mean, obviously, domestically we want nothing to happen just because it'd be terrible. But you know, if something happens domestically and it's blamed on an Iranian national, then we already know what's going to happen with social media. I mean, it's going to be a total shit show. Netanyahu says our intelligence shows that Iran wanted to transfer a nuclear weapon to the Houthis. I mean, I don't know how you can believe this. Yeah, I saw the clip of that. It was sponsored by Palantir. Yeah, I saw that. That was pretty funny. It was also by Coinbase. What about Ryan Roth? Yeah, that's another one. Well, that's a wacko dude who was obsessed with Ukraine, and that was a clear liberal who was just a complete weird, an odd individual. And then shows up at the golf course and tries to kill Trump through the bushes or whatever, and the Secret Service got a shot off on him, and then he ran away. Trump now considering adding 36 countries to the travel ban. It's the third world countries is what Trump wants. The parade was good, not big or expensive. Really liked how the soldiers... Yeah, the problem with the parade is they kind of half-assed it, and so to me it did look a little bit... It's like, well, you don't want to have them march in unison. It's going to kind of look like shit, if we're being honest. I mean, if they want to do it like that and they want to make it a celebration, that's fine. But that's the other thing. It's like, well, now you look at this parade. liberals originally were like, this is terrible, it's fascist, and then you look at the parade and it's like a celebration and they're like making fun of it. You just can't win. But I did like the visuals of it. The visuals with the White House, if you guys have seen those, how they set the fireworks off and had all the lighting going right at dusk, it was beautiful. I think I got one on here as well that I'm going to show. It was something like that. Does Netanyahu need war to continue to stay in power? Yeah, that's what people have been saying. Everyone's been talking about this aircraft carrier headed towards the Middle East, U.S. aircraft carrier. Apparently, it's powered by nuclear energy or something. I don't know why that matters, but people were talking about that. They were saying this is a deterrent. I don't know, man. I don't see how this situation ends quickly. I don't know what it seems impossible to end this unless something happens to where you really pressure Iran. But Iran just hit back with a massive response. I don't think they're gonna agree to any type of what is the peace deal or the ceasefire that Iran would agree to that the United States would be happy with? Isn't the whole point to make sure they have 0% enrichment? I don't even know who's leading the open. I don't even know who that is. The U.S. Open is bad. I mean, they need it. The golf needs the superstars, and when the superstars don't win, it's a problem. They get bad ratings, and they said the course was terrible. When will you totally? I mean, well, what does it matter what I say? I'm not a political. I'm not a political fixture. I don't really have an influence. So do I have to really come out and say that? Well, I dislike Trump for putting us in this war. I don't think that's necessary. I don't think it's. Why would it be necessary for me to say I don't like Trump for doing this? What's the purpose? I mean, it's not like it's not like I'm a political influencer. You wonder what Israelis think of Bibi. Well, there's a narrative that they dislike him. It's impossible to say for sure, but there is a narrative that they dislike him and he needs constant war to stay in power. I don't know, man. To me, it doesn't even matter whether they like him or not. It's a situation that it's unfortunate that we got thrown into this because really, I mean, when you even going back to the nuclear deal, it seemed like there was going to be. I mean, it really see. I think Trump wanted some type of deal. I really think Trump wanted diplomacy because he had to know that this was going to be bad. But it seems like Trump doesn't even care, honestly. It seems like even when he responded to that clip I just showed, he was like, "Well, maybe they'll have to fight." Well, I mean, that's the same thing as us. This is the same thing. It's the same exact situation as Ukraine. Did Biden send troops to Ukraine? No. Just because we don't send troops to Israel doesn't mean we are not involved. I mean, this is what the Republicans argued all of the last 3 years, was that we were involved. It was a NATO against Russia. We were alienating ourselves against Russia. And we were supplying Ukraine. I mean, now we're just going to be supplying Israel. Is it not the same exact thing? I mean, it's not like anyone within NATO deployed troops to Ukraine and fought Russia with troops. I mean, it's just through funding. It's through funding apparatuses. That's the same thing with Israel. So this is why it's concerning, and I really hope this somehow ends quickly, and maybe they'll be able to push Iran to the brink. I know there was a report that the big news that came out today was Israel apparently had their sights set on assassinating the supreme leader of Iran, and Trump said, no, we're not doing it. Is that true? Is that just to throw Trump a bone to make it seem like, he still has the authority? I don't know what it is, but it just seems like no matter what, we're heading towards a larger war that, to me, was worst case scenario. No, I'm not a dad. I'm not a dad, man. Come on. What are the 13 keys to ending the Israel? You mean Iran? Yeah, I mean, I guess you have to push Iran to the brink, but even that, it seems like, because if they're threatened about regime change, they're just going to go crazy. He said it though, they can't have a nuclear weapon. I know, but that you have. But even during the nuclear talks, when they were going to do a nuclear deal, if you allow them to enrich to 3%, that's not a nuclear. They're not nuclear capable at 3%. So you could have done a deal with them with diplomacy to where they wouldn't be able to have the capacity for a nuclear weapon with significantly more oversight. But even still, it's like, is it worth risking the involvement? You know, if they develop something, do you think Greenland is going to be talked about? Yeah, because it's, the G7. It's this NATO convention, basically. I mean, that's so. Of course, they're going to talk about Greenland. They're going to say, did you see Macron just visited Greenland? The French leader. Yeah, they're going to make a big thing about Greenland. We'll see what Trump says in response to it. I'm sure that's, with the G7, it's going to be more so focused on Europe. And it's also going to be with Canada and Trump saying he wanted to annex that and Greenland, and they're going to try and push back against it, I can guarantee, at the G7. Netanyahu going rogue, not listening to Trump. I mean, there was reports originally that Trump wanted some type of diplomacy, but then they said, oh, behind the scenes, it's Trump and Netanyahu. Then people said, well, that's just a cover up because Netanyahu did it behind Trump's back. I really think Trump wanted diplomacy. He has to know that this is not ideal. What do you think of materialism, Alexander? Thank you for that. Is that the Swiss money? I'm gonna have to see how. Maybe it's $5 USD. I mean, there's a lot of it in the modern world, materialistic virtues. I don't know, man. It's been a tough week. It has been a tough week. It's been a tough week in terms of the politics. You also had the thing with, well, this is the other thing. DHS pausing deportation efforts to illegals in hotels. I mean, I think it's mainly based around farms and apparently hotels, is what Trump said. So I'm surprised 22% to support that move. That surprises me. I thought it would be like 90-10. But Kirk does this thing where he like tries to have the people tell him what the answer is. I mean, with something like this, to where you pause, it's like a double whammy. We get the pause deportations, and then we get this situation in the Middle East. I mean, to a degree, I understand. Well, there's going to be a problem in terms of immediate replacement. Like, but how many illegals are these corporations hiring if there's this big of an issue, to where they have to pause deporting? Is their entire workforce illegal immigrants that are getting paid like $8 an hour, $5 an hour, whatever it is? The report that the U.S. declined to officially join Israel against Iran was good, I guess, right? But what does that mean, though? We're already supporting Israel. It's already been reported we struck down, the U.S. in tandem with the U.K. shot down Iranian missiles during their first response to the Israeli strikes. So I mean, it's like, and so if we're defensively helping them, we're still helping them. Now, formally not joining, I think is probably, it wouldn't put, I mean, there might be something to where Trump might have requested Netanyahu to say that so he could say no in a way. I mean, because I think Trump wants to be in control. And so, but like, I don't even know what that means. Now, yeah, I did a video on it because I want to give off some positive Trump stuff. I do. And so that was, positive, I guess, but I'm not even sure what that means. We're not going to officially, I mean, I guess it means no boots on the ground, which we're happy about, but it seems like that's the bare minimum. I think it was just Trump trying to get like positive press, honestly. So they put something like that out because we're already helping Israel. Trump said defensively we're going to help Israel. Now, in terms of the offense, I think that the only way that happens, and the U.S. invests major money into this, is if there's a catalyst event that would have to happen, probably domestically in the United States. It's all about cheap labor. I agree. I think it's bad, and we could advance significantly with farming technology if we just didn't have these farmers have these crutch reliances on cheap labor. And look, I understand. The thing is if the farms are being crippled by it, but I don't see how the farms could be that crippled. I mean, is it just like 100 illegals per farm? I mean, come on. Like, how many illegals are working at all these farms to make this big of an issue? European country do I think is the best? Well, I'll say no. I say Ireland just because it's in my DNA. But I've never been to Europe. I would like to go. I've heard good things. I mean, there's a lot of beautiful places in Europe. Switzerland's beautiful. Austria's beautiful. Poland's beautiful. Poland's also right wing now. Italy. Trump's fucked up on this issue. It's a bad look. No sugarcoating this. Well, that's why that's what I'm saying right now. I'm saying it's bad, and I've told people that. So, I mean, there's a way. The thing is I'm not even sure there's a way out of this in a appropriate amount of time to where it would be all right. $50 donation. Wow. First donation. Zish. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Why can't we automate the farm work? Well, you can, but it takes time. It costs a lot of money too. But yeah, eventually, I mean, you see some of the technology that they have. They have the crop pickers to where they do like 100 at a time, and it's just or where they pick the different fruits extremely quickly and efficiently. I mean, it's like 100 times faster than a human doing it. Yeah, I mean, if they end up closing the Strait of Hormuz, it's going to be a problem, and I think the U.S. would have to be involved. But Iran, they have to know that, and so I'm not sure they're going to do it. Maybe I'll look at the crude oil prices. I don't even have it pulled up. God damn it. Israeli officials say they're engaged in a fight for their existence. Really? They're ruining Ireland. I heard Ireland has supported some type of first, free speech type thing, and the EU is trying to nix it, and so the Trump administration came out in support of Ireland. Did you see that? The idea of Israel creating a reason inside the U.S. to drag us. Yeah, I know. It's everyone's been saying they're going to do some type of false flag or something. So, look, I don't know. We're just going to have to wait and see, I guess. But right now, there's not a lot of support for this. But Israel really wants it because it's a window for them, and so they're trying to take advantage of it. But with Trump, I mean, Trump does not. And now we got the G7, so I'm not sure how much comments there'll be on Israel, Iran. You would think there'd be a ton of stuff that they'd ask, but I don't know because of the combatants at the G7. there's going to be a lot of testiness with like the NATO stuff and the funding and things like that. I think it's going to be more so based around European affairs, and then the U.S. and Canada, their relationship. I just got some illegals from one of your construction sites in Louisiana. I mean, it's like everybody says near them, near a construction site, that's where all of them are. You know, our labor force is like comprised of 50% illegals. I'm being over dramatic, but it's a lot. Did you see Rafael DeVries got traded to the Giants? Sox didn't get much back. Giants might. Yeah, somebody said that in the chat, so I guess it is true. I thought they were trolling. The Red Sox just swept the Yankees. So, I mean, I know the Red Sox were still like around 500. That's surprising. Maybe DeVries wanted out. Apparently, DeVries was pissed off he couldn't play third base. He was like a DH. I don't know if he started playing third base again, but he was hitting. The Giants, I don't know, man. To me, the Giants, they're never going to win that division with how good the Dodgers are, so it's just tough. You're already starting from a wild card position. Trump said no to Israel going after the Iranian supreme leader. I know, I heard that. I mean, that's good, but I wonder if that's like planted to make Trump seem more powerful. I'm thinking more negatively, I'll admit, but it's like, why would that even be a thing that the media would why would they know that? It just seems like that might have been a plant by the administration to make Trump seem like he wants to secure peace. But again, he's like talking about these a peace deal or some type of ceasefire. It just seems very unlikely. Now maybe it'll happen. I don't know. It just depends on where Iran is at and how much they're pressured. But you've got a massive traffic jam heading out of Tehran at 1:30 a.m. local time. This is a beautiful image. There needs to be more images like this. We got to do really good imagery with the Capitol. The Capitol is a beautiful building, the U.S. Capitol. I want to see some beautiful lighting displays on the Capitol. Like on the 4th of July, there should be a beautiful red, white, and blue lighting display lit up. You've got the strobe lights, the blue. You've got it right at dusk, so it's not completely dark. I'd like it to be a touch more lighter out for this photo, but still. Show BB clip. Which one, man? Which one do you want? Iran military officials warn Israel will not be inhabitable soon. U.S. Embassy in Iraq warns of potential attacks on sites frequented by Americans. Oh boy. Mr. Clean, I appreciate it. Yeah, I'll find that clip, dude. I will find it. Am I wrong to see this is a bad downturn for this administration? He can't say the U.S. had nothing to do with it while simultaneously saying he approved it. Yeah, I mean, I that's what I've been saying tonight. I've been saying this is bad. Let's hope it ends quickly so we can spin it. It's hard to spin it because it's just what he's saying doesn't make sense. So I don't know. I'm not sure how to do this one. I mean, you could just say, well, the problem is, you know, I never wanted this. I mean, I guess if you support Israel as a Republican, you could say this is an obvious thing to do. But even the people that support Israel have to understand this is not being involved in these conflicts in the Middle East in 2025. It's radioactive. This is not something that's popular. Now you could say, well, if we're helping with defensive measures and the strikes from Iran, but this seems like it's going to escalate and then the U.S. is going to have to help with actual offensive weaponry. That's what it's looking like.
can now answer a question that you put to Benjamin Netanyahu that he punted on. A U.S. official is telling us just in the last few minutes since your interview concluded that President Trump did, in fact, in the last couple of days, nix a plan that the Israelis were putting together to assassinate the supreme leader of Iran. So we can put a bow on that as President Trump prepares to come and join us here in Canada. And he is telegraphing the way that he will frame this fight between Israel and Iran once he meets with the other G7 leaders. Part of a long truth social, he says, we will have peace.
Well, maybe this guy has it. Chris Van Hollen, I could go without hearing him. Trump praises Melania. Bribery scheme.
So is regime change part of the effort here?
Could certainly be the result because the Iran regime is very weak. I think it's basically left with two things. It's plans to have atomic bombs and ballistic missiles. That's basically what Iran has. They certainly don't have the people. 80% of the people will throw these theological thugs out. I mean, they murder them. They oppress them for 46 years. They've yearned for freedom. I mean, they shoot women because their hair is uncovered. They shoot students. They just suck the oxygen from this brave and gifted people, the Iranian people. And you know, the Persian people and the Jewish people have had an ancient friendship. Goes back to the times of Cyrus the Great. It could happen again. But again, the decision to act, to rise up at this time is the decision of the Iranian people. We decided to act because we saw enough uranium, enriched uranium, for 9 bombs. And all they had to do was weaponize them. We stopped that by we're attacking their nuclear sites.
Yeah, I'll keep playing this. But what does he mean by that? So he's saying they have more than 60% enrichment?
Attack their chief nuclear scientists working. It's like Hitler's nuclear scientists. Would you leave them? Of course not. We attacked their top command. I can inform you, Brett, that moments ago, we also got the chief intelligence officer and his deputy in Tehran because we're now over the skies of Tehran. Our pilots, our brave pilots, are over the skies of Tehran, and we're targeting military sites, nuclear sites. That's what we're doing to take out those 2 threats. Unlike the Iranians, who your reporter said correctly, they're targeting our civilians.
Yeah.
They're bombing our civilians. So that's the difference. They're a terrorist regime. We can't have Iran have nuclear weapons. And by the way, our intel shows that they intend to give these nuclear weapons to their Houthi proxies and others. And that's nuclear terrorism on a global scale. It threatens everyone. And the last thing is they have plans to develop intercontinental ballistic missiles. Right now, 8,000 kilometers, very soon, just out a little distance, and they can reach the eastern seaboard of the United States. These people who chant death to America, try to assassinate President Trump twice, killed 241 of your Marines in Beirut, killed and injured thousands of American soldiers in Afghanistan and Iraq, try to bomb a restaurant in Washington, D.C., chant death to America, burn the American flag. Do you want these people to have nuclear weapons and the means to deliver them to your cities? Of course not.
Yeah.
So we're defending ourselves, but we're also defending the world.
There's something very strange about this. It's almost like he's trying to sell the war to the general public. I wonder if Bear asked him if he wants U.S. weapons in an offensive to be used offensively. I wonder if Bear asked him, do you want the U.S. to supply weapons? I wonder what his response would be. You think the only way Trump comes out of this as the winner is if Iran agrees to a deal, but that's highly unlikely and it's still bad either way. Yeah, no, that's really the way I see it. There has to be like some immediate deal, because if it's prolonged, then there's already U.S. support for Israel in terms of the defense. So we're involved by default in terms of our funding of Israel. Also, they're going to be using offensive weapons that presumably are because of the U.S. in terms of how much money we've given them already. And then the question is, do they get funding packages eventually in terms of offensive use? Trump, I mean, I don't think Trump has any clue. If Trump is saying today, well, they might fight it out, he doesn't know. He's saying he wants there to be some type of peace deal, because I think that would be best for the administration, is if there was some type of ceasefire where Trump just says, you know what, we're not going to support anything, and you force Israel into kind of a back down mode. And Iran certainly, it doesn't have a lot of they don't have a lot of leverage, because if the U.S. decides to join with Israel, they're pretty much fucked. I mean, I guess we gotta see how China and Russia feel about this, because a lot of the oil from Iran goes to China. You said on a few streams ago, Iran is probably lying about their disclosures. It's possible. Yeah, but it's measured. I mean, they might be disclosing a different amount, but it's independently measured. It's not measured by them and then they report it. It's their uranium is measured by an independent atomic energy agency. But no, I understand. But you also have to think, dude. Like they've lied about this in the opposite direction for so many times. Obviously, people are going to say, well, Netanyahu's not telling the truth about the amount of nuclear capacity they have, because they've lied about it before. So I know what you're saying. I mean, I do think they have 60%, because it's been verified they have 60% by an international body. I mean, if that's true, then 60% is basically they're close to getting one. So I'm not denying they're probably close to getting one, but I don't know about the fear mongering about them having this many. You're also nervous too because Trump swore regarding several potential conflicts. It never happened on his watch, just for it to happen for Russia to keep pulling the rug from under him. Yeah, well, I mean, that was more of like a saying, a campaign saying that Trump kept pivoting to during his campaign. This would never happen with me. It'd be solved in a day. He's being hyperbolic a little bit, but something like this, I mean, now it's if we would have at least gotten the war in Europe over, I think Trump is a little bit surprised in terms of how that has kind of transpired. And also you could say, I mean, you could argue maybe Trump's been a little bit coy with that situation, because a lot of people thought it was going to be more of just hands off. I don't care. I don't give a shit about Ukraine. Europe is going to have to help more, and we're done. And that's not what he did. He said, you know what? He's playing the whole song and dance with NATO. He's still funding them. Yeah, he kind of played hardball a little bit to get the mineral deal with Ukraine, but it's still happening, and now you're running into the speed bump to where Russia really doesn't want the war to end. So now you have to try and pressure Russia more if you're going to be involved with it and you want it to end. Isn't this weapons of mass destruction 2.0? Well, I mean, there's a lot of similarities, but they do have a certain level of enriched uranium. I don't think that can be argued, unless the international agency, atomic agency, is lying, or they. You really think Iran is telling the truth? They're evil AF. They have more uranium. Well, I mean, is that really? But is that really our battle to judge on if a country like 8,000 miles away has 90% of uranium or 70% of uranium? I mean, look at, there's countries that we don't like that have nuclear bombs. I mean, it's just part of the 21st century, unfortunately. Trump's approval rating should drop, so maybe he pulls the ego and works to realize we're bigger and better than Israel in all regards. Well, I mean, his approval rating's been really sporadic. I don't know what it would take, but it's like you're kind of in too deep at this point to go back on what's been happening. You heard from theories that one of the 9/11 hijackers might be potentially gay. What are your thoughts? Yeah, those go around. I don't really. I don't know. I hear a lot of theories about that type of stuff too. It's kind of just jargon. The problem is that if anyone uses a nuke, it's world war and the world is over. I think you think we're done at that point. Well, it depends when the nuke gets used, I think. But I mean, like a singular nuke being used, I don't know. That could potentially be contained, honestly. I mean, you can't. It's impossible to fully predict. The only time one was used was it was at the end of a war. It was to end a war with Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But I mean, it'll be maybe in a contained. I mean, there was reports that Pakistan was going to use a nuclear weapon against India a month ago when that was breaking out. I mean, but that's a different situation than this, obviously. But there's, I think, a potential maybe for some type of I just don't know why Iran would agree to it unless it just seems very unlikely to me. Unless Trump says, all right, we're not going to push for 0% enrichment. We're going to agree to some other type of, or maybe they do some type of ceasefire and then restart the nuclear talks. I know. Yeah, the DeVries thing has come up a few times for sure. I mean, I'm surprised DeVries got traded. I don't really talk a ton of baseball on here. I'm surprised this many people are telling me it. I'm surprised he got traded. I mean, the Red Sox were playing well. This dude is just clipped. This dude is just trying to get engagement. This is from like 2 weeks ago.
This is not some sort of a perspective where we're worried or concerned. We're vigilant. We're prepared in a strong defensive posture, while the president continues to say to Iran, "Hey, you have an option for peace. It includes, various aspects of what's been discussed. Iran knows. They know they can come back. They're making their own decisions right now, and we hope they would choose a negotiated option."
It just seems unlikely that they would do negotiations after getting struck. Yeah, I'll take a look at the posts. There's probably some new stuff. I'll tell you what, that's a nice looking tent. That's a pretty large tent. Trump leaving for the G7 summit. So we'll have to see there. I think I already played that. Did I?
Summit coming up.
Look, we have our trade deals. All we have to do is send a letter. This is what you're going to have to pay. But I think we'll have a few new trade deals. Yeah.
Will the U.S.
Trump says there's going to be trade deals.
Have you asked Israel to pause their airstrikes into Iran?
Well, I don't want to say that.
Mr. President,
So the protesters, if we didn't have the National Guard on call and ready, they would rip Los Angeles apart. They come and they check and they say, is the National Guard going to be there? And if the National Guard's being there, they don't even show up.
Yeah, tents are cool. It's cool to go camping.
I hope there's going to be a deal. I think it's time for...
I already played that. I don't know. These ICE people are just... The administration considers financing $120 million rare earth mine in Greenland to reduce the reliance on China. Yeah, well, this is normalizing the takeover. Deals are coming. Yeah, hopefully they've been saying that for a while, but no, I think they have to be coming. Think about that deadline. That deadline's coming up on the July 10th or July 9th. What's the solution? The solution to the situation with Israel and Iran? Well, there's not a great solution right now. The solution is potentially a ceasefire and a renegotiated nuclear deal, but the cat's kind of out of the bag, I think. Trump doesn't have to say anything to the public concerning national security. Yeah, but I mean, you can kind of tell what Trump is thinking in certain cases. Like with this, it's kind of obvious. There's a defensive position in support of Israel. We would prefer it to be some type of a deal with Iran. I guess Trump. I'm sure they're getting a ton of information from Mossad that Iran already has a nuclear weapon, or they have, because he said they have the ability to have 9 atomic bombs, which, certainly I do think they are actually close, if they're not already there. Watch the other clip. That's a great photo. Boy, it really cooperated the night. It really cooperated with the nice sky. Trump told Netanyahu he would assist in actions against Iranian nuclear facilities if necessary. Tel Aviv this is 6 hours ago. It's like I just get the same news said like 10 different. This is like the 10th time I've seen this since I started scrolling. The 11th. Oh, this Netanyahu claims that Iran wants to kill Trump. This is gonna, and you just know this is gonna be insanely loud. Vivek beach photo. What do you want me to look at? What kind of a statement is that? You bet Ohio State spends more on their football marching band a year than Army celebration. What was the cost of that? It was like 45 million, they said. Yeah, they made a huge deal about it. Did you see NBC thanking the rioters, protesters for coming out? No. American military, I didn't see that. But I guess it doesn't surprise me. They are definitely, they admit they're liberal. They don't like Trump. So they lean into it. Unlike CNN. CNN tries to stay in the middle. Obviously they're not, but they try to. They try and hold up a facade because they're more of like a global entity. You watched the Trump movie today? It's pretty biased against him. There's a scene, really? I'm surprised I was never told about that scene, but yeah, I don't know, man. The acting was good. I heard the acting was good, yeah. Yeah, but the thing that you're not understanding when you make a statement, you're saying that liberals give free stuff, conservatives say they won't give free stuff, and they'll reduce the government, then they don't reduce the government. You want to know why that is? It's because of tax breaks. So they give tax breaks. Conservatives do. Justin, what's up, man? 2 weeks before Israelis start mass protest. What, against Netanyahu? She accused him of it, and the movie took it as gospel. Bunch of stuff just made up. Yeah, I mean, obviously there's going to be a negative connotation if that's how their movie is portraying him. Denmark needs to give up Greenland. Yeah, I think it might be the easiest thing instead of trying to convince the people of Greenland just to the problem is Denmark is just part of that cohort, that EU cohort. So it's hard, man. They don't like the United States. They don't like Trump. Well, they don't like the United States when Trump's in Denmark. And so I think it might be easy to just like give them 20 billion or something. I mean, that's tariff revenue. That is tariff revenue we make every month is 20 billion. Gen Z didn't show up for the No Kings protests most of it. Well, that's a common thing we're seeing with these Trump protests, and it's getting the liberals really, really antsy and really angry. There's no young support that hates Trump, that's passionate against Trump. And it's very old. It's not even people in their 30s or 40s. I mean, these people, they have to bus them in from nursing homes and the retirement facilities, and they bring them in. And so that's got liberals really angry. And these are all like, the average age is like 75. And that's a problem. Like, your party is dying when that, and it's not literally dying, but these are people that they're very, very old. Opinion on gooning. You know, something that's you do when you're younger, I guess. But it's always got to be a question like that. Does Trump put Walz in jail? No. He appointed, that dude was appointed to like a nonpartisan board. The dude who killed those two people, those two representatives. I don't know, kind of a weird situation. That's another one that's very strange. Trying to track that situation. Because apparently they said he was a registered Republican. I don't know. It's some wacko. It would be so nice for the people of Greenland to not have free healthcare anymore. That's exactly what they need. Well, I mean, we could give them extensively free healthcare. There's 57,000 people. For the United States and our GDP, that's they're like a shrimp. The stuff that we could offer them compared to Denmark, it's why don't you Google the GDP and just the overall investment size of the U.S. versus Denmark and tell us, where do you think the better living quality will be under the United States or Denmark? Once the U.S.-Iran war starts, at least, that will make people once and for all abandon the neocons and neocons' approach at last. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know, man, anymore. It's like, does Trump get lumped in with this now? Does the MAGA movement get lumped in with it? I mean, because you think MAGA would be the antithesis of the neocon agenda and the movement. They were trying to break out of it, but now you've got this. I don't know. Did you see the Rand Paul clip? Yeah, I did. I think I have it on here. He was criticizing the parade, I think.
Okay. Here we come. All right, I got you. Got me? Yep, I got you.
No Kings. Oh my goodness. Rev your engines. This is it for Trump. This is it. Trump is screwed now. No kings. Trump is screwed. This is the majority of the support. Hands off of research. What did the No Kings protest prove? See November 5th. Yeah, right. I thought they believed in democracy. Trump won everything. Trump won everything. He won all the swing states. He won the popular vote. But, yeah. Well, let's not let him govern at all.
I haven't responded yet. Is your article in that magazine?
Start your engines. I guess he didn't want to,
You know, I'm all for the president appearing and doing enlistment ceremonies at military bases. I've been with the president at Dover to receive home our dead soldiers, and so those who have been killed in action, and to mourn their loss. But I just never liked the idea of the parade, because I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and the only parades I can remember are Soviet parades for the most part, or North Korean parades. And the parades I remember from our history were different.
Yeah, but it was like, honestly, the parade that they're talking about, it was a celebration. There was no demonstration of like ultra military strength, fascist. That's not even what the parade was.
Different, you know. Everybody remembers that famous scene of the soldier, you know, dipping the girl and kissing the girl in New York in a ticker tape parade. But we were rejoicing the end of war, and we were rejoicing our soldiers coming home, and that absolutely ought to be commemorated and discussed every year. Memorial Day, Veterans Day. But we never glorified weapons so much, and I know he means well. I don't think he means for any of this to be depicted in another fashion, but I'm just not a big fan. And then there is the cost. I mean, we're $2 trillion in the hole, and just an additional cost like this, I'm not for.
Really? 30 million versus 2 trillion? I mean, come on. It's like a drop in the bucket. We're making it way back in tariff revenue anyways. Imagine Trump sings your resources song. Give us your resources, we love you. Send us your lithium and cobalt precious metals. What if Trump's just like, we love you, give us your resources. Alberta and Greenland too. Yeah, when Trump said that, never attack him on his looks, and believe me, there's plenty of subject matter right there. Well, he's like, why is Rand Paul up here? He's got less than 1%. There's far too many people up here anyways. I mean, they did have like 11 people. They had like 11 people. How do you have a debate with 11 people? You remember that Republican debate in the hangar in 2016? Or it might have been 2015. It was like early on. Yeah, it would have been 2015. Dude, they used to do it so differently, the format. How did this get cucked so bad? The format that they did in 2015 for the Republican primary, I think we got like 12 Trump debates. Like, seriously, they would do a debate every 2 weeks. But then they'd have like, at the beginning of the primary season, they'd have like 12 people on the stage. And then they slowly cut it down. Show us the shattered testicles guy. I think that was AI. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of a different clip. He's like ice shot off a ball. I think it's AI. Remember the lib song, What Side Are You On? Yeah. 2016 cycle was so entertaining. I know, it's like the entire thing was just... I mean, I wish I had a YouTube channel for that. That would have been crazy. They'd have so many candidates in 2016 that they'd have 2 debates, one with 1% candidate and the other in the big debate. Yeah, no, it was just they had so many debates in general. I feel like they had a lot less debates in 2024. But 2024 was a joke anyways, because Vivek was like Trump's shot bitch. And he was just trying to be like the MAGA guy. And DeSantis, Haley, and then Chris Christie was like the anti-Trump guy, and he would eat the microphone. But the 2024 cycle was tough. King's protest on the 250th anniversary of our military that liberated us from a king. Make it make sense. Yeah, I know. It's a celebration. It's a 250th but these people, they don't like the United States. That's the thing that we have to understand. They fundamentally don't like it. They don't like our country. They don't like our founding fathers. They don't like how it was formed. They don't like the 1800s, the early 1900s. They don't like any of it. Primaries sucked in 2024. Yeah, they were real bad. They were real bad. How has your overall week been? Love your vids. I appreciate it. My week has been pretty normal, honestly. I mean, nothing really big. My live streams have been doing a little bit better. It's kind of weird, like, my videos will be at a lull, and then the live streams will do better, and then the live streams will lull, and then the videos will do better, and so, I mean, we'll see. I'm probably going to start doing more 9/11 videos or related content to that, and also just, you know, covering the situation with seemingly it's picking up now. Now the G7 summit and everything like that, so there'll be some stuff for next week, and we'll see what happens with Israel, Iran. Did you see the clip of the car getting attacked and running over the crowd in LA? No Kings protest, trying to charge the guy with a felony. It's tough when it happens in California, because DeSantis said you could do that, and then it happens in California. I know, it's just such a terrible position for a driver to be in. I mean, you just have to let your car get beaten to shit, and also your safety's on the line as well when you've got like a mob. Please go on a rant about immigration from places like India and Mexico, the whole world. Well, if you want to know how bad, you know, when you're talking about immigration and how the issue with immigration is it fundamentally changes a culture and it changes a way of life. And that's globalism. And that's what nobody in the United States should want. The problem is a lot of these places in the US have already gotten to the point to where, like, look at New York City. Look at the demographics of New York City and how horrible it is. And it just becomes unrecognizable. It's just like LA County, like all these people out protesting. LA County is a great example. They've got Mexican flags. That's just, it's like globalism 101. So there's no actual care for the land and the country that you're in. And that's why they say immigration doesn't matter. Everyone's a citizen. Everyone's the same. Well, no, we're a country. We're the United States. We have a process in which you become a citizen. I mean, we have the best military in the world. And so I think immigration is just, at this point, people are done with immigration. I mean, even the mainstream Republicans are done with immigration. Now, it's not trickled into the administration, and I don't think it will, because it's always a lag. But I think eventually people are going to be like, this is enough of this. We have to cut this down and try and find a solution. And, you know, the GDP goes down by, you know, 2%, well, then the GDP is going to go down by 2%. I mean, this is more important shit. it's a lifestyle cultural thing that you have to kind of put preference over. That's what I would say on it. 300K stream. Yeah, I mean, I'll probably do a 300K stream. Dude, hopefully my channel will be doing well when that happens because it'll be easier to reach. But I don't know how long that's going to take. 300K. It might be into August, honestly, man. Well, I don't know, man. I'd have to change my videos or something to get it quicker. Do something. Do like, I don't know exactly. I mean, the video stuff is kind of weird just because, you know, the algorithm's really strange in terms of how it works. Who are the 15K people on the gold card wait list? Well, they're all very rich. I mean, if they've got $5 million of disposable income, you know, it's $5 million. So it's a lot of wealthy people. A lot of wealthy business people, I would imagine, if they're... Dodgers Nash. Yeah, I saw that clip, man. Singing it in Spanish.
It's okay. We are going to do the song in English today, so I'm not sure if that wasn't trans or if that wasn't.
I mean, I don't know. I guess this is real. You almost wonder if it's staged or something. But the Dodgers communications with all these protests going on, they tell her, they're like, all right, we got to do it in English because of all these protests.
Alright, bear with me because I'm still very shooken up and emotional, and anyways, I just got home from...
I can't even hear this. But she sung it in Spanish. They told her to sing it in English with all the protests, basically, is what happened. If something happens at the G7, you might get a bump. Yeah, maybe. What DEFCON should U.S. birth rates be? Like 3? If we're being unbiased, Trump has been a failure. No, that's not true. Because you have to factor everything in with immigration and sealing the border and the tax cuts that are going through with the bills. And, I mean, I think there's a lot to be determined. There's a lot in the pipeline. There's a lot in the pipeline for sure. But, yeah, I don't know, man. Gold card should be 10 million. Remittance should be 50%. There's what we should really do. That's better than the gold card. He did what he said about energy. Yeah, that's true. The energy stuff is so obvious, too. I don't know how Republicans are more on the right side, because normally with renewable, where Democrats are heavily involved in, you know, it's the future of, and I do agree generally with getting energy from the sun. But with nuclear, you would think Democrats would love nuclear, but they don't like it. And to a degree, I can kind of understand, but it's surprising that Republicans are on the cutting edge of that. Is there any new info on how the Indian guy survived the plane crash? You still have no clue? Yeah, the plane stalled, and it was going at a slow enough rate of speed to where the only way you're surviving something like that, if there's a fireball throughout the entire plane, you've got to be at an emergency exit. And, you know, they open the exit because, you know, if the plane is traveling at a slow enough speed, you can actually open it. And so he jumped out. So think about it. If the plane is like 10 feet off the ground, but it's technically, this is how the plane falls because it's stalling. if you're 10 feet off the ground and he jumps out, you can, and the plane keeps going, you survive. So I think that's probably, or the other thing is he just got very lucky in terms of where the fires were, and he just crawled out after the crash somehow, because maybe the crash impacted an area that wasn't necessarily, like the first initial crash impacted an area that wasn't near him, and he could just kind of barrel roll out. Maybe it was something like that. Should India and Pakistan be on the travel ban, especially considering the fact that the Kashmir conflict is, well, that's not going to be solved at all. That's been a conflict since the British left in the Kashmir region. So are we headed for World War III? No, we don't have to fearmonger like that. We don't need to do that. I don't think it's going to be World War III. Alberta. Yeah, we'll see with Alberta. That's where the G7 is, and Trump's talked about, maybe they'll start. They should, the Alberta groups should talk about maybe joining the U.S. when that happens with the G7. Trump has completely failed. Prices haven't went down at all. There's not enough deportation rates, and even we have more conflicts worldwide and support Israel. Well, prices did go down. They went down on gas. They went down on eggs. They went down on food. The inflation rate went down. You can argue certain sectors maybe went up, but overall prices have gone down. That is true. And I'm not just trying to cope, because, the data is, trust me, I know. Most of it went down. As for the Israel stuff, Trump is playing 7D chess. Yeah, no, I can't really say anything about that, but maybe Trump is he's working on something. I think you have to talk to. I don't know what the administration wants to do, so I really can't say anything. What's with this? These people are obsessed with this. Dude, you're obsessed with me getting drafted. You gotta stop. I'm not gonna. Why would I shut my channel down? It doesn't even make any sense. I'm not gonna shut my channel down. That would be good views for me if I got drafted. How can you fail when you're only been in office? Yeah, I know. That's the thing. People have to calm down on Trump. Trump is the ultimate leader of our generation. He is the ultimate alpha, and so that's why Trump is the leader. So people have to respect that. I mean, it's just like, he's not controlled by Netanyahu. Remember, he told Netanyahu to fuck off like 2 months ago. Trump is playing 90 chess. Yeah, I was gonna tweet out something sarcastically, like this is 70 chess, but I don't know. I don't think people were gonna get the joke, so I was like, I'm not gonna do it. This is what Trump. This is when when you have a leader that can do things like this, that can pull off this. I mean, this is why Trump has a high approval rating. When you've got beautiful displays like this of patriotism and nationalism, and the country is together, and it's just these crazy liberals. They're all like 90 years old. It's disgusting. This is really what it's about. Trump needs to be very careful on how he handles the war. Could be the equivalent of the withdrawal of Afghanistan. Well, in terms of what, when there's not going to be deployments. Was a stunt to make it look like he has control. Bibi went against his word, striking Iran, pretended to go along with it. Makes Trump look horrible. I mean, why don't do you have an inside scoop on the administration? Look, the administration has had a tough week. Maybe we should. It's been a tough time. So we're seeing what's going to happen. I mean, I don't know. But listen, I said it wasn't a good idea to do this, so I don't know what people want me to say. It's too early to judge Trump as a president overall. Oh yeah, it's way too early. But this is, I mean, dude, it's not really we're judging him and saying it's over. People are just saying right now, up until this point, there's been some problems. I think that's what people are saying. But I mean, we do have the deportations down to basically, or we do have the illegal immigration down to nothing. Your Trump ratings, 10 of 10 on the border, energy, 8 of 10, foreign policy, 3 of 10, inflation, 8 of 10, Doge, 2 of 10, overall, 6 of 10. Yeah, border, I would say, it depends what you mean by border. Do you mean by deportations or just enforcement? 10 of 10 on enforcement. Deportations would be less. I mean, deportations would be like a 4. Energy, 8 of 10. Energy in terms of the energy sector, the cost of energy, or energy in terms of the investment of nuclear. I don't think that's a big enough thing to really rank right now. Foreign policy, you say 3 of 10. Yeah, I mean, it's hard because of this. He hasn't ended the wars. That's the problem. I'd probably say like 3.5, honestly, like 3.7 out of 10 or something. Maybe give him a little bit more. Inflation, 8 out of 10. Yeah, inflation's like a 10 of 10. If you've been looking at this, the inflation numbers are amazing. Doge, 2 of 10. Yeah, Doge is like a 1, honestly. They didn't do much. I mean, and it's not necessarily Doge's fault, but it's kind of a disappointment. Overall, you say 6. Yeah, I mean, it's somewhere around there. It's an incomplete grade right now. You're disappointed so far. Honestly, the Russia-Ukraine war hasn't ended and a new war is on the way. Hope Trump can prevail. Yeah, I mean, I think when it comes to Russia-Ukraine, there's not much Trump can do there. I mean, that's a geopolitical thing to where the only thing Trump could have done is completely pull out and we wouldn't be involved. But the problem is that Russia obviously is being extremely aggressive. How do you really curtail that outside of, I guess, funding Ukraine and threatening Russia with sanctions, which is what he's doing? That's what he's doing. You can't really, because Russia is more powerful than Ukraine and because they think they at this point need more land, you cannot really do anything about that situation. So it has to be frustrating for Trump. The only thing you could say is we're done. It's not our involvement. They're not a NATO country. We don't have to defend them. Europe's going to have to chip in more money. But then, I mean, I guess that has its own issues in terms of Russia getting more land, although it's like, you think Europe would be able to defend that, but you think the deportations are way harder under Trump than they are Obama because every liberal mayor cooperated with Obama? You never heard it well. Oh, it's apples to oranges. It is apples to oranges. And it's not even just apples to oranges in terms of the cooperation, which that's a great point. It's also apples to oranges in the way that deportations were counted under Obama, where they use this false thing to where they say Obama deported more than Trump. No, they turned more away at the border. That's not a deportation. That's not what Trump counts as a deportation. Border turnaways should not be counted as deportations. That's why the current administration doesn't count them as deportations. When they say Obama deported more people than Trump, that's also another great point that should be mentioned when defending Trump. Trump gets no support when it comes to these deportations from any of the local jurisdictions. All these liberal places are against him. There's all these marches, but Obama's able to deport 300,000 people without any court dates because you're allowed to, because these are illegal immigrants. I'm not saying he wasn't allowed to, but there's no protest against that. But there's this horrible protest when Trump does it. And on top of that, Obama's deportation operation was set in place by W. Bush. It wasn't like Obama, oh, he's got this hard ass, you know, I mean, yeah, he did deport a lot of people. And he was stern in certain cases, but you know, there's more context because that's a common thing I see with Obama deporting more people than Trump. You know, you need to look behind the curtain in that situation, I would say, between when you compare Obama and Trump and the deportations. Trump's up against a lot worse than Obama was, a lot worse in terms of deportations. Kamala would have had us at war with Iran 100%. Yeah, I mean, I don't really see how it would be very, very different with Kamala. With Kamala, it's just like, there's really no, she's not making a single decision. If she would have won, there's no decision. With the Democrats, it's, I don't really view either Kamala, if she would have won, or Biden as people that make any serious decisions. Like, who is going to her about like, it doesn't make any sense. So the Democratic Party would definitely have done the same thing, I would imagine. Now, the only thing the Democrats can say is, well, they did have a nuclear deal in place under Obama that Trump ripped up, which, by the way, had support in terms of it being ripped up because there wasn't enough oversight, and the Iranians were likely lying about their numbers. You could say that's Israel propaganda, but I mean, there wasn't a lot of oversight in terms of, you know, the nuclear enrichment. Look at how Reagan sold us out on immigration would be a great vid. Well, 1960s was the start of it, 1965. Immigration reform, and then Reagan with the amnesty. But then, I mean, recently it's been insane. If you look at the total immigration numbers over the past 30 years. Do you think the Israel-Iran conflict will continue to escalate? Yeah, I don't see where there's an off-ramp, really. I mean, I don't think, honestly, either side's want an off-ramp. Why would Iran want to negotiate from a position right now? I mean, I guess the U.S. could really show a show of strength if they... But right now, it seems like the U.S. is trying to play this game to where they're out, but they're in. They're only defending Israel. There's no offensive use, which I don't think would push Iran into any situation to where they'd be scared enough to say, all right, we want some type of peace deal with no uranium enrichment. And then for Israel, they want it to continue because they want the regime gone. EXX alerts. Border King, huh?
What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh shit! What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh shit!
Where did that water come from?
I want to talk about the nuclear threat, and I want to talk about President Trump. You just said Iran tried to assassinate President Trump twice. Do you have intel that the assassination attempts on President Trump were directly from Iran?
Through proxies, yes. Through their intel, yes. They want to kill him. Look, he's enemy number one. He's a decisive leader. He never took the path that others took to try to bargain with him in a way that is weak, giving them basically a pathway to enrich uranium, which means a pathway to the bomb, padding it with billions and billions of dollars. He took up this fake agreement and basically tore it up. He killed Qasem Soleimani. He made it very clear, including now, you cannot have a nuclear weapon, which means you cannot enrich. He's been very forceful. So for them, he's enemy number one.
Yeah.
Look, they also tried to kill me, but I'm his junior partner.
When did
they
you
understand that President Trump is a great threat to Iran's plans to weaponize nuclear weapons and use them?
When did you tell President Trump you were going to launch these strikes?
Look, I've been in constant contact with President Trump. We've known each other for many years. And obviously, we informed our American friends and President Trump, our great friend, ahead of time. No, we did. He knew about it, of course.
I mean, there were reports that President Trump kind of helped you achieve your strategic surprise by publicly urging you not to attack when he already knew you had decided to do it. So you were closely coordinating with the U.S. throughout this process.
Look, we're fully coordinated, but understand that America, under President Trump, will make the decisions that are best for America. And that's the way it is. He understands that I, as the Prime Minister of Israel, the one and only Jewish state, must make the decisions that are important for the survival of my country, and he will do what is best for America. That is a relationship of mutual respect and mutual confidence.
He looks like a vampire. I don't know what the lighting is with it, but Lindsey Graham. Yeah, Lindsey Graham got real excited. Lindsey Graham, how do you tweet out game on after a strike? Come on. Yeah, I don't think they're going to get out, though. But I hear what you're saying, and I agree with you. I do. But I'm saying based off of the dynamics where it is, what Trump has been saying, in private and in public, at least what we know, it's they've got their view is to help defensively, I guess. I don't know. They said Iran just had an earthquake. Yeah, this is what Trump said. Sometimes they have to fight on a war with Iran. He's conceding it. Is there anything you disagree with Trump on? Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, there's been some tough stuff recently for Trump. Hopefully he'll at least clarify the deportation stuff. You saw something about 2.5 magnitude. What are your thoughts on Trump so far? Have you liked him or disliked him? I mean, I've liked Trump for the most part. Yeah, I've liked Trump for the most part. There's a lot of negativity right now because there's been some. Well, I was just saying, clarify that because he said they were going to stop the deportations on a lot of the illegal workers. But it's like this is what they'll say. They'll say, doesn't it make more sense to target the actual criminals? Yes, it does, but the criminals tend to be a bit harder to catch. That's the problem. That's why they started doing the raids. So in essence, you're going to get less people if you just don't do the widespread raids. You're like a father to a lot of us. I mean, I have gotten a few Happy Father's Day from people. I mean, I'm not a father personally, though. Is Libs of TikTok a trans woman? No, she got doxxed. Remember, she got doxxed like 3 years ago, I think. We can't deport 3 million farm workers. We will have no food. I mean, that can't be the reliance. Is it seriously that bad? Is that the reliance to where like every fucking farm worker is an illegal immigrant? I find that that's not true, man. There's no way that's true. I mean, sure, there's I'm a decent amount, but I know there's farms that have no illegals, and they talk about it. What do you think about O1 visas? Yeah, I mean, I more so understand the O1 because it's extraordinary talent. I know what you're saying with those. The H1Bs are real bad because it's more so just grunt work. The O1s, you could argue, extraordinary talent. Are we in NATO? Yeah, well, you see with the G7, we're definitely in NATO. But yeah, they'll be talking about it. Go on a rant about H1Bs. Well, the issue with H1Bs relates to the fact that with H1B, and this was the whole problem with Musk and what he was trying to illustrate. He's like, well, it's all extraordinary. These are all important people. No, the H1Bs are total corporational control over immigrants who have temporary visas in the United States. And of course, the immigrants are going to work for less. It's coding work. It's entry level. It's all a lot of it's easy shit. And some of the times with the H1B jobs, it's not even just technology. It's also jobs at golf courses and just simple jobs that Americans should have. So the problem with the H1Bs is that the jobs can be held by Americans. This is not like we're denying 180 IQ brainiacs. That's the O1. That's extraordinary talent. I'm sure there are some smart people that come in on H1Bs, but the problem is significantly more than half are just normal people. So the normal people, those jobs should go to normal Americans, not normal immigrants. That's, I think, the biggest problem with H1. I mean, the H1B process is competitive in terms of getting it, but I mean, that would be the issue with the H1B. And I thought Musk was really dishonest when he was talking about H1Bs. He kept saying how all these people are so fucking smart and shit, and it's like, dude, there's an entire visa for that. It's O1. But they kept trying to say, oh, these we need these people for GDP. That's another thing that's happening now where they're like, we need immigration for GDP. Well, we have the number one GDP by, what is it, $10 trillion, 27 trillion versus 17 trillion. 42% of farm workers are undocumented. I mean, but how do you even get that number? I mean, how would you even know if it's under the table? I'm not even. Was it an estimate? But even that's less than half. USA Open winner putt. Was it a good putt? Grizzlies trade Bane to Orlando Magic. Desmond Bane. I do know some NBA players. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Tucker was spot on about Iran. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. Tucker came out hard against it. But Tucker's like absolutely zero funding. Again, that doesn't surprise me. You're tired of holding your meme coins? Yeah, dude, so am I. You just got to keep holding until at least the winter. You got to keep holding until the winter. It's not fun. But that's the way you get rich, man, through memes, is by holding for a while. Trades don't make you rich. Trading meme coins, I've done both, and I would have been very rich if I would have held one meme coin. I think it's important just to hold and hold and hold. That's how you get rewarded for that. Tucker is a Russian apologist. I mean, I think a lot of us would be accused of that, honestly. But I think his interview with Putin was hijacked by Putin, and it did make him look bad. But it's a hard situation to be in because you're going to Russia. It's Moscow. I mean, it's like you can't really. What are you supposed to say when the dude goes on a tangent about the history of Ukraine? What is it? USA Open?
Make it 2 putts.
It's always shitty weather. And who's the no-name who won? Congratulations to him. Congratulations. You love how people can say the trajectory of the Trump presidency in 5 months looks like it's going to be horrible, but couldn't see it coming in 4 years of Obama. Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's there's going to be a lot of overreactions because of the recent news with the Israel-Iran situation. That's going to cloud everyone. Put Trump on the competition. That will bring the... Yeah, Trump should appear in one of the majors. Have Trump compete in one of the majors with Tiger Woods. Thoughts on the Patriots? Is Drake May another Mac? No, Drake May's better than Mac Jones. I don't know how good Drake May is, though. People might be overhyping him a little bit. You thought the stream was frozen. Yeah, that happens sometimes. Thoughts on Ryan Day? I mean, he won a national title. The Michigan stuff is bad though. What is he 1-4 against Michigan? Not good. But I mean, you win a title, he's gonna get some grace. No, I don't have any updates on Greta Thunberg. I mean, it's like this perspective makes those tanks look really small. It's kind of interesting. Dude, like, really? Oh, man. You heard Trump is actually good at golf? I mean, for his age, I've heard he's good. Yeah, the G7 is tomorrow. Trump, I think, is already there. Or they said he's en route to go to the G7, and it's in Canada this time. It's a weird perspective in that photo. The parade was so disappointing. Yeah, I think it was just kind of half done, honestly. There are some cool photos from it. Just with the fireworks, I think it's aesthetically pleasing. It would have been nice if there were no clouds, though. I will say that. You get a better sunset. Have you watched Trump play with Bryson DeChambeau? Yeah, that YouTube video. That was a really big video. I remember that. Yeah, you're right. The timing was bad. I agree. It was unfortunate timing because of what happened. You thought the parade was kind of cool for the event? I mean, I would have liked to seen more unison with the soldiers a little bit, but in terms of like looking professional and stuff. But I mean, I guess there were some good photos that came from it. Saudi Crown Prince MBS says Israel doing anything it can to drag U.S. into a war. Can you give your opinion on Vivek's immigration policies? What with the H-1Bs? I mean, I think he ruined his you know, it hurt him politically a lot to say what he said about the immigration. What happened to Candace Owens? I think she had another baby, so she took parental leave. Now, this is all shit I saw.
If the raids hadn't happened, then that protest would have been a no kings protest. We know that that was planned months in advance. But the disruption and the fear that has been caused by the raids has really had a devastating effect and has been a body blow to our economy. I don't think the president understands that we have entire sectors of our economy that cannot function without immigrant labor. If the raids hadn't happened,
Yeah, I don't know why people keep demanding a Vivek beach photo. It's strange. The coke in the White House was Elon's. Yeah. Elon was on some serious drugs, and thankfully, he's come to his senses. I know, it's such a great. Well, we need them to exploit them for illegal immigration labor. Well, maybe that's a bit of a problem, and we should correct it, right? Or just keep letting it happen, keep letting it get worse. Maybe they're undercutting Americans in the workforce and driving down the wages. The whale enters. What's up, Sean? $55. I appreciate it, man. Dude, these. What do you want me to look at with Vivek's tweets? I don't see. What's the point? Did he say something? Because you guys just say random shit, and it ends up going. I go to it, and it's nothing special. Yeah, but apparently the ICE raids. The problem is they won't continue, according to Trump, on certain sectors. Are you disappointed with the deportation numbers? You know, this is the thing with the deportation numbers. If you include the self-deportations, they say it's around 700K. So, I mean, that's good. But yeah, the physical deportations, not the self, they've been lower. And the problem is, you know, Trump finally kicked it up a little bit with the raids to where they were just targeting bigger swaths of people. And he immediately backtracked it. So it's a little bit concerning. You looked up a Vivek beach photo on Google, didn't find anything. Maybe he's trying to bait you into some weird photo. It's just such an odd thing to say. I mean, it's just like, I mean, I don't know, man. You know, no kings except Fauci, RGB, Obama, Comey. Well, you remember Fauci's book when he called himself a god? Remember when Fauci released a book right during? He thought he was. I mean, Fauci had like the lever on everything. That dude was so egotistical. When he would give updates, and it was like he kept getting into spats with Trump. Remember that? And it's so funny to see the liberals try and argue this bullshit about GDP and all this shit because they wanted to destroy our GDP, like annihilate it. They wanted the government shut down for months, and then when Trump opened it up, because he only shut it down for a month, he opened it up and they were like, you're killing so many people. But now they're like, well, Trump, because he shut the government down, the GDP went down. Well, you guys wanted to shut down for like years and you blame Trump for killing people. What's your next video? Tomorrow I'll probably do another video. Well, I don't know about the G7 because probably there's not gonna be any updates tomorrow. They'll start coming in later, but I'll do a video on politics and then maybe a stadium video or a 9/11 video, something like that. Did you get the Fauci ouchie? No. How Trump handled COVID, you're not surprised with how he's cooking out on deportations. Well, I think with Trump on COVID, that Trump supporters would say that's the one thing, warp speed, that they didn't like. I mean, that was such a horrible time though for any leader. I would hate to be leading a country with that. Like, I don't want to make excuses for Trump, but it's just like there's no way to win a situation like that. It's just, and you have an election happening during that entire thing. It's just terrible. Teachers Union president, Rand. Yeah, I saw that. At least the Israel-Iran situation proves MAGA isn't a cult. Those comments from Trump about him deciding what's America first were awful. Yeah, I mean, that's just a lack of. I mean, it just. I think he was kind of lashing out at the base when he said that. You could tell there was some frustration. Are any of Iran's missiles hitting? Absolutely. There's been rubble. There's been several reports in Tel Aviv of civilian buildings getting hit. You should make a college football record predictions video. Love your content from Georgia. Yeah, I think if I'm doing a college football video, it's going to be predicting the 12 playoff teams. I think that seems like a pretty good one. Seems like an obvious one to do. I'll have to do a little bit of research on that because it's this year. It seems kind of like, I mean, we could easily predict like 7 or 8 of them, but then after that, it's kind of like, even the group of 5, it's a little bit more challenging this year to predict. I appreciate that, Alex. So is Israel Iran in a formal war now? No, I don't believe so. It has to be a prolonged. One of them has to declare war on the other, and it has to be prolonged. I mean, because think about it, how is it a war? You know, if there's a ceasefire tomorrow, is that really? I mean, I guess it is a war. I don't know. Did Iran declare war on Israel yet? Trump posted what on Truth Social? Oh my goodness, man. Can we get a can we get a smaller can we get a breakdown on this? Oh, this is just about ICE. I thought this was about deportations. Trump is praising ICE officers. In order to achieve this, we must expand efforts to detain and deport illegal aliens in America's largest city, LA, Chicago, New York, millions upon millions. This is where all the illegals are. Trump talking about the Democrats using it to expand their voter base. Yeah, I think this is damage control, honestly. That's what I would say what this is. You're asking him if he's a bot? Yeah, he's one of my AI agents. Do you think Israel will nuke Iran? Dude, imagine. No, I don't think so. I think they're gonna get higher grade missiles from the U.S. if I had to guess. There were reports that Iran was preparing to declare war on Israel, but nothing yet. So it's technically not a war. Formal response to no kings, it seems. Yeah. Trump still wants mass deportations. Of course he does. It seems like it's going to be a little harder to do though if they're picking and choosing which ones they want to deport rather than just getting swaths of them. But I'm sure he still wants mass deportations. Absolutely. When did Trump send that? This was just right. This was minutes ago. Somebody told me that he sent something and then I updated it. Yeah, so now I got this algorithm really, really good now. So I'm a little bit more happy with this, the way it's working. Thoughts on Mets waving the pride flag during the national anthem? The Mets team did that? Or was... Oh, that's strange. Or did they have it just waving in like the outfield or something? I never ate at that place. I never ate at that place. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. I don't know where that place is. Bunch of these reports are so 50-50, could be fake leaked by the administration to control the narrative. How much do you trust of those? I'm trusting less and less. I have to trust less and less just because so much of them have been bad. They've just been bad. Like, for example, the report that came out that Trump stopped the assassination of the Iranian supreme leader. Do we trust that, or is that more of a narrative control to show that Trump supporters that Trump wants peace? I don't know. I mean, I'm not trying to 4D chess everything, but it might be that. Does Musk still need to fix X? Yeah, he does. there's always going to be problems with social media apps, but the bots are always the biggest problem. The bots, and then the farming of engagements, which is really bad with replies on X. Phil, thank you for that. $50. I appreciate it. That might be three $50 donations for me. The whale's entering. At this point, should we just assume everything is a lie and everyone is a bot until... Well, no. What I like to do is, once you read a certain amount of news, you can kind of gather your thoughts and compartmentalize what you believe as kind of a summary of you have to compare things that have happened, like with Israel, Iran. Obviously, there's been certain news that's come out that's facilitated this, and you have to go back and what's real, what's not. And you kind of have to, you just have to have context clues, I think, to a lot of this stuff to kind of know. That's just what I think in terms of a lot of the news that comes out now. Because a lot of it is strategically false. It's done because, number one, they can spread it quickly, and it can go to a lot of people immediately now with social media. And number two, it's just a strategic thing. More funds for shitcoins. No, the thing is I haven't made a single crypto investment since a while. I mean, now I do have my portfolio is decently large. But yeah, more so I'm just saving up my money. I'm trying to get enough to where it's like, all right, you got to be able to, because now it's got like, now I have all these things that I got to buy. It's like monthly expenses. I'm going to have to do something to get like a new debit card or something. It's just these constant expenses. It's just like, I mean, I can, you can afford it, but it's, I don't know. I'm going to have to do something. I'm going to have to get a new debit card soon because I need to get rid of some of these expenses and see what I need to keep. That's what I used to do when I was younger. I'd just get rid of a debit card. I'd have all these monthly things. I think I still have monthly, Uber Eats or whatever. I haven't used it in like 7 months. And I just never canceled it. These dystopian predictions about 2030 and internal enslavement and whatnot are getting... Oh, it's terrible. Yeah, any prediction... the predictions on the AI taking over, that in and of itself should be classified as like AI slop. They say that because it's like, yeah, maybe it's not from AI, but it's just slop. Like, how do you know what's going to happen with AI? People always predict things will move faster with technology than they normally do. At what point should the U.S. get involved with Israel, Iran, or should we stay completely out of it? Well, I think I would love there to be some type of ceasefire here. I think we should stay out of it, but we're not out of it. That's the problem. We are funding Israel, and we're actively helping Israel with their air defense. So we're already in it, but the question is, do we help them offensively to give them the proper weaponry to really strike Iran? And I think that's what would be the next step. So I think that's what probably Israel is trying to pry right now and get U.S. support for. But I hope that, they're not involved. But they're already involved, so it's like, what am I supposed to say? I would like to see maybe there's a ceasefire or something. And Trump said there's potentially a ceasefire. It does seem a bit like cope, but... You never know. I mean, maybe Iran is pushed and their citizens have an uprising and something happens. You never know. I mean, it could happen. How come Chick-fil-A is closed today? Yeah, dude, you want to know two things. Chick-fil-A and Costco. Very popular. But Costco's out of control. I'm not going to talk about Costco again. Dude, Costco is ridiculous. I drove past Costco. Costco is like every single day is Black Friday. Every single day at Costco. I mean, it's constant. $2030 prediction, maybe we're at war with China. Over Taiwan. Yeah, no. I think by 2030 something's going to happen. But to me, China is moving really slow on that. it's going to be a hard takeover for them. It's going to be, you look at Russia's advance with Ukraine. It's a miserable takeover for them. They're not really going to be able to take all of it. They're going to have to split it. And you could say, well, China's so much bigger than Taiwan. Taiwan's isolated, but I don't think it's going to be a simple acquisition. And you want to talk about that compared to like, because Taiwan, they've got a significant economy they've built up. I mean, look at their semiconductor company. I mean, it's massive. Can't find a seat at 9 in the morning at the food court at Costco. No, it's overrun. And they've got the thing now, what is it? They've had it forever, but it's like $45 to, even with that, it's $50. It doesn't matter. It's like they like that it costs money. And you would think, well, maybe that would keep some people out. The fact that it's a $50 membership or whatever. People are like, they need to up the membership. They need to up the membership, man, because there's so many damn people. Bitcoin is the only thing that you're right with gold. Gold always increases because they find more, so the supply is going to go up. Bitcoin, the supply can only go down. You are right. That's why Bitcoin is digital gold. But it's you could argue even better because the supply can only go down. Can we admit Truth Social is cringe? Well, obviously Trump. There's a lot of money that there was invested. The Trump family invested a lot of money into it, so Trump has to keep most of the posts on Truth Social, so he can keep the user base on there. Nobody has any reason to use Truth Social outside of the fact that Trump uses it, and even then, everything just gets screenshotted and brought over to X. But it's because there would be a massive. It would be completely devalued. Truth Social would, and their family doesn't want that. Wendy's or Chick-fil-A? Yeah, Chick-fil-A. Wendy's is more similar to like McDonald's. I wouldn't compare Wendy's to Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is like a better food than Wendy's. Chick-fil-A is so overpriced. Nah, I mean, I think it's pretty normal. It's like $10 for a meal, $12 maybe. Rumble, you like Rumble? I could never like Rumble just because of the interface of it. Is there a finite number of Bitcoins? Well, now there's like, there's probably only in terms of tradability, there's probably only like 17.5 million. They say there's 19.5, but there's about 2 million of them that are in wallets that are inaccessible now. And they burned like 1.5 million Bitcoin. So the original supply was 21 million. Five Guys, yeah, Five Guys. That's the thing that you could argue is overpriced. Five Guys. I haven't gone to Five Guys in a while because I know how expensive it is now. But when I was younger, I went to Five Guys. You think Truth Social is very funny? It's like Trump got so mad when he was banned from Twitter, he went ahead and made his. I mean, it's smart if you've got the resources to do it, you might as well do it. But now, I mean, with Twitter, they're not gonna do anything to his account with Musk in. Rumble's interface sucks. YouTube shadow banning sucks too, though. Yeah, I mean, what do you mean when channels get shadow banned? Yeah, I mean, shadow banning is the worst thing you could do to a user. It's just terrible because the person doesn't even know. I mean, I guess you can tell, but I don't know. The thing is with the algorithm, it's just so weird. The algorithm is just so weird on YouTube. It's Kloss. Yeah, I think he went to the G7. I think he went to the G7 summit. I don't think he's on tonight. Do you still have any 9/11 video ideas, or did you get through them all? No, I just haven't gotten around to doing them. I still have at least a few ideas in relation to the commission report. Sirens in Tel Aviv. I mean, that's going to be a constant thing probably until there's some type of ceasefire. If you're low income, you get a free Costco membership. That's why it's so packed. Is that true? Well, yeah, well, no wonder if that's true. Where were you during 9/11? I was sleeping. I was at my house, I think. When's the estate coming? Not anytime soon. I need to upgrade my car before anything like that. Will Trump ever fulfill his deportation promises? I mean, we have to wait and see. We have to wait and see. So, I don't know, honestly, man. You were what, 3? 2000, I was 1 years old. Years. 1 year old. But almost, I think I was almost 2. Yeah, I was almost 2. Update on Israel thoughts. Well, Netanyahu now is going on Fox News and trying to beg the United States to join the war. Trump has said they're probably going to fight it out. He hopes for a ceasefire. It seems like the U.S. is already supporting Israel. They're spinning it as it's a defensive help. And so then the next big thing is going to be, well, will Trump authorize the use of offensive weapons for Israel, from the United States? And so I think that would be the next big thing. We're also seeing Israel, they're saying, is getting hit, and so there'll be a reaction from Israel, I'm sure, in terms of the damage. They'll try and use that. 500,000 communist Chinese students that hate the USA. No, that was part of the trade deal. So Trump kind of had to do that. He didn't want to do that, but that was part of the trade deal with China. That's what Trump said. So that's why that happened. Was the plane that crashed in Pennsylvania the closest one to you? Shanksville. Yeah, Shanksville. I visited Shanksville Township. That's where it crashed. People said, well, it got shot down, and so, I mean, I could understand it. It's probably unlikely, though, honestly. Do you think U.S. has even the slightest chance of getting involved? Well, I mean, in terms of troops, no, I don't think so. But I don't know. Do you mean like offensive weapons supplied to Israel? Yeah, they will, probably. You do Dan Schneider video, but like, why? That's not even close to my niche. So I'm just gonna randomly come out with a Dan Schneider video, like in the Nickelodeon, like a documentary on that. I mean, it's like, I mean, you can give me video ideas, but it's thoughts on Israel possibly going nuclear. I don't think it'll be needed, and it would be a horrible stain for them. So I don't think it would be needed unless the U.S. says it's not happening. Unless the U.S. says we're not going to help you offensively. Would I ever consider doing UFO alien content? Honestly, probably not. I actually have thought about doing like an alien video in the past. It was like a while ago though. What was another video about space I thought about doing but I never did? Just a random video about space because I find statistics about it real interesting. I receive tariffs. You receive 500K leech spies. No, what Trump did is did you he got a great deal if you look at it because he got 50% tariffs. The tariffs on us, it's 10%. So Trump got a great deal with that one. You know, I've been critical of Trump and stuff, and but you know, Trump's been some of these deals are good. I'll be honest. There's a lot of people that you know, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of waning support for Trump. I'll say that. You see it in the chat, but you know, when you get a good deal done like that, and you get someone like Trump who is the ultimate authority and just the ultimate leader. I mean, we have to respect that. Blonde or brunette? Probably a brunette. Yeah, the car vlogs are definitely my niche. Yeah. Do a video about the American Revolution and Civil Wars. There was a thought maybe about World War II, something along those lines. Honestly, with all these spies, why can't China make anything as good as we do? Well, everything they produce is cheap. I mean, look at their factories. Everything they put out is. I shouldn't say that. That's not true. That is genuine American slop when you say that. But a lot of their shit is cheap. Status of the protests in LA. I think the protests are pretty much done. They would have been the biggest yesterday because of the whole Kings thing, and now that's over. Hillary, Bill, or Obama? Bill. Protest worked. Trump cucked out. No, Trump. Trump just said we have to. No, it was really big. Big agriculture. I think big agriculture might have done it. It wasn't the protests. Did you touch on Macron and Greenland? Barely. I mentioned it. Yeah. Did you see that? I thought that was interesting. It's these NATO countries are so annoying. So Macron, the French leader, goes to Greenland, and it's a solidarity thing. We stand by you. Remember, the French, they were the ones that wanted to send the troops, and so now we got the G7 coming up. So yeah, what a joke that is. Trump deports me. It's a negotiating tactic. Trump sends me to Baghdad, and I'll be just like, well, it's in the pipeline. Or it's in the pipeline. I get sent to Baghdad on a military operation. Well, it's all the peace deal is in the pipeline. Imagine. No, we're not gonna have a draft. I just joke about it. Best possible outcome for USA for Israel-Iran conflict: immediate ceasefire. Something doesn't make sense. No, yeah, there is some issues with that because they said it's all going to be automated, the farming. So why are they so obsessed with keeping these illegals for these? And they're not paying them anything. It's just terrible. I mean, Trump should be seen as a hero for deporting these people and freeing them of this payment. And I mean, they're getting paid like $5. No wonder these farms want to keep them. Robot labor being cheaper, and well, it's a high upfront cost, but eventually it becomes cheaper. You're right. But how do you automate an entire farming system? They did that in Interstellar, but that's not really. That's a movie. But I think it's coming. I agree. Newsom is acting like the guy who wants to run in 2028. Yeah, well, obviously he's going to, and he's probably going to be the first ones to announce after the midterms, I would imagine. Right-wing Reddit is just as unhinged as left-wing Reddit saw a theory that Elon never stopped being a Democrat and was baiting Trump for power. Yeah, well, that's nonsense. I mean, Why did Elon already apologize? It's like, come on. Elon's taken way too many big hits in terms of like his companies to fake this. Newsom or Stephen A, which one would win? Newsom. Newsom will be the nominee unless someone better. I mean, Newsom really is the leader of their party. No, really. What I don't know what people want to say, but it's like, yeah, this is probably with minus 3.1. Yeah, this is pretty good. Yeah, where's the insider advantage? We need it. We need a new insider advantage poll. Insider advantage should just like give Trump like a plus 20 in approval. Just give him plus 20. Who cares? OKC had 81% chance to win. Fed decision in June, yeah, no change, 97%. U.S.-Iran nuclear deal, 39% chance. Iran nuke in 2025. I'm not even sure how that would be paid out. Iran, I guess, possessing a nuclear bomb. U.S.-China tariff agreement before 90-day deadline. Strait of Hormuz closed in 2025, 41% chance. U.S. military action against Iran before July, 45% chance. U.S. tariff rate on, yeah, the U.S. tariff rate is going to be around 50%, I believe, is the tariff rate on China. Maybe that was select goods. Does the timeline for how Iran keeps failing to make a nuke for at least 30 years make sense? What stops them exactly? Well, it wasn't. It was. They lied. That's what it was. You know, because they want involvement from other countries. Israel does to help them. So they're gonna say constantly Iran is getting closer and closer. But I'll tell you what. I mean, you know, it's a little bit different now with these enrichment numbers that are. This is a governance board that is saying that, well, they have a 60% enrichment. Well, if they have 60% enrichment, then yeah, they could argue that they're very close to developing a nuclear weapon, and that's just an independent party saying that. Epstein Diddy files chance release. Yeah, I mean, with Trump, I don't think it's gonna happen, or I don't know. I've heard conflicting reports, but with what Patel and Bongino are saying, it seems like they're saying nothing is gonna be coming out for a number of reasons about that. Or if something comes out, it's I don't know. There's that Epstein coin. 78K. It went all the way back down. Hilarious. Well, the exact same spot it was, and then Musk tweets about Trump, and it goes to 800K, and it's already back. It's already back to the same spot. It just experiences such a typical sell-off too. Loaded fries versus curly fries. What are loaded fries? Is that when there's like fucking like nacho sauce on them or something? Cheese on them? Timetable for Golden Dome completion, yeah, it's gonna be a while. But people, people are down on that because, dude, I see these dumbass liberals criticizing it. They're like, why would we need this? Hey, you stupid bitch. What is the only way the United States can be attacked? Oh, it's through the air? Yeah, NORAD just alerts they don't actually have missile defense systems that are as extensive and as strong. I mean, we need something legitimate. There's a lot of lies. They say it costs $1 trillion. No, it doesn't. It doesn't cost $1 trillion to build that. That's a lie. We're going to have a lot of the Golden Dome. Some of it's going to be, we're going to have missile interceptors on Greenland as well. Thoughts on Benny Johnson? Just a MAGA influencer. I don't really have anything against Benny. Golden statue of Trump. Yeah, maybe they'll build one for him at Mar-a-Lago. Worst pollsters from 2024: Marist, Morning Consult, Forbes, and Seltzer, ABC News. Yeah, well, Ann Seltzer is hard because she only does one poll, and it was so wrong, but it's only one poll, so, like, what's the impact of it, really? I mean, it was a big impact for liberals. They believed it. But tomorrow we should have some big stuff. I gotta get back. I'll do 3 videos. It might have to be 2 videos, because if I do a 9/11 video, it's gonna take more time to get it uploaded, but... Alright, guys, that's going to do it for this live stream. I'm going to end it there. Did the moon landing happen? Yeah, I think it probably did. I think it did, based on a number of things, but... Epstein coin needs to run to 5 mil if they release anything. Probably won't. They probably won't. Maybe it'll go to 1 million. All right, man. You're loyal about the car vlogs, I know. Yeah, I want to do things like that. We'll see, man. Oh, there's fireworks going off. Reports of another mass casualty situation in Israel after building collapsed after Iran strike. Huh. Well, let's hope it's not too bad. With civilian casualties in wars, it's bad. It's not good. All right, guys, we'll see ya.